Godzilla, King of the Monsters, the sequel to the 2014 film Godzilla. This is, of course, directed by Michael Dougherty instead of Gareth Edwards, not Evans.
Yeah, right.
And this is just about, it takes place during the fallout of Godzilla 1. Some new monsters are afoot, and there are peeps out there that want to unleash them on the world for reasons. And
yeah, for reasons.
So, you and I have, for the most part this year, mostly agreed on the most of the movies that have come out. We didn't like Captain Marvel that much. I thought it was okay. You thought it was not very good at all.
Yeah, well, not very good at all means I thought it sucked balls.
That's well, I mean, you didn't think it was very good.
I'd retroactively make my score more like a 2 out of 5.
Right.
It's bad to me, but not like awful.
Hellboy was not good.
Hellboy sucked.
Avengers Endgame, pretty damn good.
Pretty damn good, yeah.
We don't diverge too much. This one, from the inklings I've gotten, just on their face, or just on the face of what you've been saying, it sounds like we might diverge a little bit. But I think we can come to an agreement just at the first point here. This is most certainly not as good as Godzilla 2014.
Yeah, no shit. So as you said, the plot boils down to pretty much they're trying to wake these monsters, and they're using this weird machine that Kyle Chandler's character developed, and his wife is using it. And then there's some bad guy, and there's all this other bullshit, and then there's the other scientists, and then there's the dumbass shootout scenes. This movie sucks. I hated it. I hated this movie so much. I was in utter shock at how much I disliked this movie.
Damn.
So, where do we get started without going into spoilers? All right, I'll keep it non-spoiler. Well, okay. Fights weren't long enough. Okay, so the first one, I heard that was kind of a common complaint. Number one, I thought the first one was just a better movie.
I agree.
The characters were simpler, you know? You got soldier guy, you got his wife, and you got some army guys and whatever.
Yes, they're easier.
They're easier to understand. You get the deal. They're like, shit, we gotta stop this natural disaster, but it's also a biological natural disaster since we're dealing with a monster. Whatever. Simple. This, who the fuck knows what's going on? There's too many factions. There's too many sides.
It gets a little too big for its britches, but I will say this much.
What's that?
This might be a hot take. I actually like the protagonist of this movie more than Godzilla the first one.
I don't like any of the characters in this. They all suck.
Not even Kyle Chandler?
No, it's just like Kyle Chandler. I kept thinking, for some reason, in the back of my head, I thought, why is he acting like the dude from Star Trek? For God's sakes, God, Jim, I'm a doctor.
Oh, Bones McCoy?
He sounded like he was emulating that speech pattern. For God's sakes, Vera Farmiga, I'm a doctor, not a Godzilla, whatever the fuck, summoner.
Yeah, the performance is I like the character more just because he had more going on with him.
Sure,
because it's the first Aaron Taylor Johnson. It's like, I just want my family back. This one's like, I hate Godzilla, kinda, but is Godzilla's
he's Ben Affleck from Batman v Superman, but not quite.
But yes, and I will say he doesn't get. You could make a complete case that he isn't the protagonist of this movie, and that there are other people. It's not very clear, and I will agree with you there. The story is a bit of a mess at times.
Well, here's the problem. Don't make a fucking kaiju movie complicated at all. That's never gonna work out. Like, okay, prime example. I mean, I love this movie because it's horrible. Godzilla Final Wars. Who the hell could raise your hand, anyone in the world, if you can tell me like a concise. Give me a brief synopsis of the plot. It's not possible.
No, it's
There's
too
so
hard.
much weird shit going on with aliens and whatnot. This kind of felt like the same. It's hard to say without spoiling, so I'll just keep it simple. There's a lot of factions that all want different things, and there's all this shit about, so-and-so's on this side when you thought they were on the opposite side before. There's a couple times, and it's fairly obvious, and it's not a big twist, and it just feels dumb when it happens. You said, really? You're going through with this? I felt that happening, and
That's
It's
really
just so dumb.
That's really my only issue is that twist. Beyond that, I think the story for me it was fine. There's really only 3 factions.
There's literally no good acting anywhere to be found. Except one person, Millie Bobby Brown, the daughter. I thought she was one of the only people who did good acting. Ken Watanabe had some moments.
I thought Ken Watanabe was very good.
But I felt like there's certain lines where he just had to, the script is so bad.
Yeah.
He's just cringing to say the lines.
So my brother he didn't hate
It's weird too, because I like Kyle Chandler and I like Vera Farmiga a lot.
Well, we'll get to Vera in the spoiler section, but
Right, no, but that's what I'm saying is I really like the cast, but some of the cast. But the acting was not there for me.
Yeah,
and
I was all right with it.
It was bad enough where it wasn't like kind of okay. To me, there's a difference between bad fun where it's kind of winking at the camera or whatever. Mm-hmm. This did not feel like this. This just felt like overacting because they knew the script was shitty and they're just trying to force out lines.
I don't know. There's some this wasn't like Jesse Eisenberg and Batman v Superman bad, where it's like what are you doing?
It was close.
No, it isn't.
Oh,
there's maybe I'll say this much: Bradley Whitford's close.
He sucks.
He's bad.
He's like, I'm comedic relief guy.
It's bad. But Kyle Chandler, he's fine. He's fine.
I wasn't buying it one iota.
But that, I didn't need him to be good.
Philosophically, I understood the character's point of view.
Yeah, that's fine. And I thought his performance facilitated it. Fine. He's not the person I had the bone to pick with. It was two other characters.
He's not the main person. He was one of them.
It was Bradley Whitford and
what's the guy from Silicon Valley?
Really?
He sucked in this.
He was okay.
He wasn't funny. He was doing that.
This is because I've seen replicas this year. And it gets worse with Thomas Middleditch performances. Much as I like him.
He was doing that mumbly joke talk shit, and it wasn't funny. None of the jokes were landing. My theater with him, all his jokes were dead silence.
I think every joke
the worst character by far was Dr. Chen.
The worst character or worst performance?
Both.
Not Vera Farmiga.
Okay. Her character's pretty bad, but
her character's by far the worst character in my opinion.
Her character's unnecessary, but we'll get to that at spoilers. So, Dr. Chen, oh my god, guys, I'm just going to state something that someone already said. It's like, guys, don't you see? We need to use the machine to wake up the monster. Mm-hmm. Guys, we need to use machine to wake up the monster. No shit. Someone already said that. Mm-hmm. Every time she opened her mouth, I literally thought in my head at one point, stop talking. Which kills me, because it's like, when the movie was over, I'm like, who was that? And I'm like,
man, you didn't know?
Zhang Ziyi.
Yeah.
From fucking Crouching Dragon. Yeah. She's a good actress. What the fuck happened?
Yeah, I think it was just... I agree. I mean, these side characters are not good. They're not
horrible.
Very good, no.
But you spend so much time with them. That's my other huge problem with this movie. It's one thing to have a lot of, human scenes in a monster movie, but make those scenes good. Make them believable. I wasn't buying anything these people are saying. All the shit they were talking about was completely idiotic.
Not even the scene with Ken Watanabe that's very good.
There's one great...
Okay, so that's not scene. Every scene. You said every scene involving the supporting characters. There's one... You can say most, and I'll agree with you on that, but there's a lot of scenes in here that don't have them in it, and they're just monsters fighting. And while they're not long, there are more.
No, I take that back. The Ken Watanabe scene was still dumb because it reminded me of Armageddon, which is a crappy movie.
Well, I can't spoil it.
I was going to say. And by
something.
the way, spoilers. I don't give a shit. Spoilers. It's a callback to the original movie. So if you've seen the first Godzilla,
there's a lot of fucking callbacks to the original. Yeah. There's a lot of callbacks to a lot of Godzilla movies in this, which is interesting.
All right, so you can't see anything during a lot of the fights because there's too much storming going on. You know, also this movie did. There's about 4 really cool shots in this entire movie, and guess what? They're all in the trailer.
Which one?
Okay, the one where I don't know. I think the Comic-Con trailer, the one where you show DC, the one where you show Mothra waking up, the one where Godzilla and Ghidorah charge at each other, and Rodan doing a barrel roll.
What about the scene of Ghidorah on top of the volcano and the cross in the foreground? Because that's one of the greatest shots I've seen all year.
Meh.
What about the scene of a certain character walking up stairs with lava flowing in the back? Like, there's good-looking scenes. I will second your notion. By that
point of the movie, I was so checked out.
I will second your notion that some of the scenes don't look as good as they could be, or as shot as
I didn't think the special effects were all that good.
Really?
No.
I think this is some of the best rendering I've seen all year in special effects.
What? This is crazy.
No, like, it looks pretty fucking good. Like,
Where?
what scene doesn't look good? Which scene?
I don't know. I just felt like the whole Antarctica fight scene didn't look all that great.
Here's where I'll give you it didn't look good. Anything involving humans and also monsters.
Yeah.
So, like, a scene where, like, a monster gets, or a character gets thrown by a monster or something, it doesn't look the best.
Yeah.
But, like,
there's a scene where a character is jogging away slowly when shit's going to hell behind this person. It looked very bad.
Well, thankfully, though, like, the monster scenes, like, them fighting, looked pretty good.
For the 13 seconds of fighting you saw before it cuts back to humans.
No, there's a lot of fighting in this. There's almost too much, as was the case with some critics.
What?
That's what
outrageous. I didn't think there was nearly enough.
That's what the criticism was. There's too much fighting, not enough good character development, which I agree with some of it. I do agree that there's not nearly enough and too much character.
I feel like I was screened a different showing than everyone else. Because I didn't think there was really that much fighting. This movie was way too long.
No, I think you're in the majority of what most critics felt. Because they gave this movie a fucking thrashing. And I walked in with very low expectations. But I don't get. I've seen way fucking worse this year. Way, way, way fucking worse.
I mean, I can't give scores, but I did not like this very much at all.
That's all right. That's the power of movies.
Okay, so what else we got? I kind of covered most of it. I just thought the pacing sucked. Took too long to get from point A to point B.
I hear you.
Fuck it. Time to do spoilers. I can't hold it in anymore.
Let's do it.
Okay,
let's talk about
so the world is going to hell in a handbasket, and Millie Bobby Brown's character is just like slowly jogging away from it. That scene looked that was at the point where I know it's nitpick at that point, but I've already decided I hate this movie. Mm-hmm. So that part I literally laughed out loud.
Let's talk about that character, or those characters in general.
Oh, the whole family?
Not even that. Just Vera Farmiga and Millie Bobby Brown.
Her whole turncoat thing. That was so fucking stupid.
Right? I'm like, you're a scientist?
No, I have to work with the bad guy. And then they did the classic, Mom, you've turned into the bad guy. Oh no, I've done wrong. But then I've got to do right.
They start saying shit like Millie Bobby Brown says stuff like...
Does she die in the end? I don't even remember.
Who?
Vera Farmiga's character.
Yeah. I'm imagining
that's what I'm saying. It's like, I don't even remember the ending because this movie just sucked so badly.
Her car beefs it and she like fucking dies, and she has that line where right before Godzilla goes supernova, which, come on, god damn it. You didn't think that was fucking cool?
It was too short.
It was... What part was too short? That whole fight or the part
whole ending?
The ending was too short?
Mothra's lame.
What part about Mothra's lame? I'll say this much. Killing Mothra was lame, but Mothra is lame?
Well, that's the thing. It's, okay, we got Mothra to come back. Mm. Oh, I'll get him. Psych, just dies. It's
that
like,
was
thanks
cool.
for being so useful.
Yeah. She blows up and like sprays Godzilla with her
I think one of the only cool parts, like really good scenes for, longer than 45 seconds was Rodan versus all the planes.
I love that scene. That was real fun.
That was probably the only scene I really liked, and then everything else that was cool was in the trailer. And okay, there's one shot in particular that was very misleading. It's the shot in the trailer where you see DC in shambles, and you think, oh man, we're gonna see shit go down in DC. Mm-hmm. But you don't really, because you just get the after effect the after shot of what happened. And there's too many shots in this movie. They promised us something so grandiose and so much bigger than it really was. They showed, oh yeah, we'll just go to this scene real quick and then we're going to cut away. It reminded me of Valerian. Valerian did that in several instances in the movie where, oh wow, what's this cool, interesting world? Oh no, we're just going to stay here for a couple seconds, then we're going to move on to some boring ass room with nothing particularly interesting in it.
Sure. Yeah.
So that was a huge problem I had, was there's so many shots. This movie just didn't really deliver what the trailer seemed like it was promising.
Yeah, I get you there. It wasn't...
Like, this is the ultimate Rumble. No, we had, 4 monsters altogether but at the end? Ghidorah, Rodan,
Mothra and Godzilla.
and then the other monsters show up, and I'm like, oh shit's about to go down. No, we're just gonna bow to Godzilla. Fuck that.
Well, I mean, that was...
Fight, goddammit.
No, I mean, that was what they said was going to happen, is like Godzilla needs to fucking kill Ghidorah, which I actually liked that. I liked that the whole thing of Vera Farmiga being like, we gotta unleash all these monsters because it's just gonna reset the world back to whatever the fuck because humanity sucks. I'm like, oh man, this is dumb.
Her whole character was redundant.
It's bad. But the thing I do like, the thing I like is them finding out, oh fuck, Ghidorah is not from Earth, so he's just here to fuck up Earth. Yeah. So that's not good. I like that twist, but it's predicated by really bad plot. So I like parts of this story.
What you're saying, I didn't even realize, because by that point I didn't give a shit anymore. Okay, her character, honestly, what the fuck was the difference between her and the bearded guy? They could have just gotten rid of her altogether. Well, they could have just made the bearded guy like one of the former Monarch scientists or whatever the hell. Mm-hmm. Her character was unnecessary.
Bearded guy doesn't die.
Whatever.
Bearded guy's got to come back for Godzilla.
Well, they probably should have killed him because he sucked. He had no purpose.
Well, did you see the post-credit scene? I'm sure you did not.
No, I stayed because
you did?
I said, all right, if you want me to stay on board at all, you better show this thing like, who the fuck is this Godzilla guy? Boom, 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 beats his chest, lets out a mighty roar, and there we see Kong looking off in the distance at Godzilla or something.
Well,
it's even lamer.
Well, wait a minute.
People bang Ghidorah heads.
Well, allow me to educate you for a second.
Go right ahead.
The fucking credits of the movie say that all the monsters are converging on Skull Island, and they show fucking King Kong. So there was that.
Yeah.
Second of all,
it should have shown Godzilla beating his chest I'm ready to throw down.
I mean, that would have been cool, but it was just the newspaper clippings. They should have shown him
ready to throw hands. Oh, but, newspaper clipping. How exciting.
Well, I mean, it's they allude to okay, so there's going to be another movie. But then the post-credit scene is actually in reference to Mecha King Ghidorah.
Oh, whatever.
Because in the original movies, Godzilla ripped his head off, and they made a robot head version. Anyway, look, I'm not going to fiercely defend this because it's not a very good movie. It's at all. But I was fine with it. I was able to look past it. I get that too. I get that, but I was able to look past some of the issues.
You know what, the part where I realized what the fuck is this movie even? And this is where it felt like Godzilla Final Wars, but not in a hilarious way. When they're having their dumbass gun battle in Antarctica, I thought, where the fuck is Godzilla? When are monsters going to start fighting? That's too little too late. And then when they do fight, oh, it's a murky, brown, grayish lightning storm with the blizzard. Have fun not being able to see jack shit.
Oh, I thought it was good. I saw everything fine. I liked the idea of hey, it's going to be a Godzilla fight scene in the snow with fucking lightning in the... that's a cool idea for a scene. I get how it's no, I can't see anything. I saw everything okay.
I don't know. I just didn't think the monster fights made up for the other hour and a half of the movie that sucked.
I like the ending monster fight, and I like the Mexico fight. I like seeing Godzilla rip the head off of Ghidorah. That was pretty cool.
Man, I don't even, how many monster fights were there? There's the Antarctica one. We'll count the Rodan aerial battle, and then there's the final one. That's it.
Well, there's the Rodan aerial battle / after that, when Rodan's fighting Godzilla and Ghidorah, and the fucking oxygen bomb blows up. So that's technically one scene, sort of. Not really. Not really.
Right, the fact that it's I'm counting 3 right now. Not nearly enough.
It's not as good as Godzilla 2014. I agree with you.
I think Godzilla 2014 was much better. You had Bryan Cranston in there.
For 15 minutes, but sure.
Doesn't matter. He was still more interesting than any of these other characters.
Yes, but he was... It's not... Godzilla 2014 is not a perfect movie either. Killing him in the first 20 minutes is one of the biggest mistakes you can make.
I mean, yeah, sure, that's craziness.
But there are more
Godzilla's
mistakes.
problem... Or this Godzilla's problem was not killing all the main characters in the first 20 minutes.
I get it. A lot of people, well, weirdly enough, a lot of critics were disappointed with this, and some fans, but the
I
overwhelming...
had mile-high expectations for this, and I think that's part of the problem. But this just felt like, it's just another one of the movies this year. Mm-hmm. This year, 2019, has been dog shit for movies.
Well,
I'm much less excited for Kong versus Godzilla.
I'm a little less excited. I think I agree with you there as well. I'm not
also
very
with
excited.
The oxygen bomb or whatever. What the fuck is it? He has to bring the nuke to bring him back to life.
Yeah,
I don't like that bullshit. It should have been like he's hurt and there's a running clock. I'm just tired of this shit where it's like, we can resurrect him.
Well, see, that was for me, like, that was very much in keeping with, like, a lot of Godzilla, like, prior films. Like, there's always a part in all the fucking Toho movies where, Godzilla's dead. And they're like, no, he's not. We just got to fucking give him a nuke, feed him a nuke, and make him better. That felt like in keeping with that tradition. As someone who's, like, I've seen a lot of the fucking Godzilla movies, this felt like an American version of a Toho, like a recent Toho one. Like, one that's probably not that good. Whereas... the original Gareth Edwards one was like... so this is a movie where, like, I think people got to check their expectations at the door. Like, if you're expecting...
Don't have high expectations.
No. If you're going in expecting, like, a sensitive... This feels a lot like...
I was expecting a battle royale. And
like the movie battle royale or like a battle royale?
A battle royale.
Oh, so like...
Though I wouldn't mind it if Godzilla was...
so like Fortnite.
Yeah. No, not like Fortnite. Like, like Team MMA. You ever seen that shit?
Yeah.
It's like 4-on-4.
My brother made an apt comparison. He's like, this is like Batman v Superman and Justice League in terms of tone and like interpretation. It's like one is like very set in its own, like in its own take, and like it's very consistent with the take, whether or not you like it or not. But this, like, Justice League feels like a big forfeiture of that original tone and intention. Right. This kind of feels like that too, and I took off points for it as well. It's way too goofy. The first one was a lot more dour and grounded and
that's what I thought was kind of cool. It's like you see all the UN tents and shit. It's like, this is a natural disaster, but it's with a monster.
Yeah, the first
one. I thought that was a cool idea. This was just... No, I need to awaken the monsters because I love the earth, man. Or like some bullshit. Mom, you've changed. Oh, gee whiz, I should listen to my daughter. Yeah. You know, the children are so wise after all.
So was she... That was what I was going to ask. Is she fucking in on it? Millie Bobby Brown?
What do you mean?
Well, because she says, like, you said you were going to do this for blah, 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 or my dead brother. And I'm like... Were you fucking in on this, you little shit? Like,
whatever.
I'm like, I thought I was supposed to like you.
I don't know.
Those characters
Here's
suck.
another thing. Yeah, the family unit was not great.
I liked Kyle Chandler. I was fine with him.
I was fine with Millie Bobby Brown's acting. I just thought her character, like all the other characters in this movie, was shitty.
So you like the character of Kyle Chandler, but not the performance.
Yeah.
So it's like a weird gift of the Magi thing.
Yeah, like what in the fuck? Because I'm a big fan of Kyle Chandler in general.
I was fine with the performance and the character, but again, it's not ideal. It's not an ideal thing.
Here's like the part where I decided I hated the movie. There's a part where, just like in the beginning of Guardians of the Galaxy 2, where Drax and all of them are fighting that monster, but you just see little baby Groot running around. The monster's just kind of in the background.
Yeah.
That happens during the final fight. You just see, Kyle Chandler talking to his daughter, whatever, we gotta get out of here. And then in the meanwhile, you see a foot stomping in and out of frame. I thought, fuck that. This is what I paid for Godzilla. Show me the fucking monster fights. That pissed me off to no end. Mm-hmm. So I guess, weirdly enough, I'm in agreement with the critics about quality, but for different reasons.
Sure.
Because they said, no, the monster fights were good. I just didn't like the human characters. The human characters sucked, but I also just didn't think the monster fights
were enough.
They didn't cancel it out.
Yeah, yeah.
It's like I say, fucking, Rambo 3 or even the fourth one. The acting's about meh, but the action is top notch. Mm-hmm. So my thing is, you have to have one vastly superior to the other if one part's going to be lacking. Mm-hmm. I think I'm usually pretty fair about that. I didn't. To me, what was special about the action in this that we didn't see in the first one?
Oh, again, it's not as good as the first one. I agree. But I think there's more fight scenes than the first one. So I would give it just beyond that. I mean, that's just pure
I guess I would
quantity.
have to watch the first movie again.
I was thinking the same thing.
Well, because
been a while.
I remember liking the movie overall as a story, characters, all that better.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe there might be fewer fight scenes. However, if a movie's going to be this dumb, there better be a fight scene a damn minute almost.
I think
For example, classic feature film, one of the best of all time, Mortal Kombat Annihilation, has a fight scene or an unnecessary front flip about every 5 minutes. And that way I can stomach how fucking terrible it is. Mm-hmm. I can't stomach a movie being this bad when you have such long gaps between fight scenes.
Yeah, I get that.
I hated this movie. So you want to move on to scores, or you got some final shit?
No, I'm good. Let's do it.
All right, I really hated this, and I'll be generous because I did like a scene genuinely. Mm-hmm. So just like with Black Hat, where I did enjoy one shootout scene, I'll give it the same score. I'll give this a 1.5 out of 5.
Yeah, for me, the movie's fine. I thought the action was rendered really well. I thought it was pretty fun to look at. A lot of moments that made me smile. The character work is spotty at best. There's some real head-scratching, like, misguided-ass attempts at depth that I just don't understand, but I thought the protagonist was a little bit better than the one in 2014.
I will wake up Godzilla.
Oh, man. I like that fucking I like that fucking scene.
The Armageddon bullshit.
I thought the performances got the job done by and large, but some actors are bringing a bit too much or a bit too little to the table. And I like the lore. I like the way they expound on the lore a little bit. But so in short, like, I thought it was imperfect, but it was worthwhile. Like, it was fine. I didn't see it opening night. I saw it on a Sunday in an afternoon. Mm-hmm. So it's about a 7.
Oh my god. So
that's my go-to score of, like, you know what? It was a movie. It had a couple cool moments, and I don't regret watching it.
So a 7 plus a 1.5. That gives us a grand total of
15 out of 15. No, that is an 8.5 out of 15. That's not good.
That's not good, but it's also, it could have been worse.
Yes.
But you were generous.
I've seen way too many movies this year to rattle on this one too hard. There's far worse.
I've seen too few, and this movie is an example why. So that'll do it for our review of Don't Flush Your Pets Down the Toilet Because They Might Grow Up to Be 100-Foot Monsters, Part 2, the movie.